What's up, y'all? We are back again with another mock draft here today. And we're doing a little different. We're trying out the ESPN new mock draft simulator. So I can go full seventh rounds on here and we can really get in depth. And I'm gonna try to explain what I'm doing with each pick and why I'm picking what guys over who. We're really far into the draft process now. And so we're really finally starting to wrap up our thoughts on every player and team needs and everything like that. And so the board's kind of coming together. Now, I did do a practice one on this ESPN one, and it was pretty good. And I also actually recorded a full, like, 17-minute long, in-depth mock draft. And then I went to try to edit it and put it on YouTube, and it just didn't get any of the screen recording. It was just black with audio. So here's take two. So we're trying this again here, folks. But I'm excited to get into it. But right away, let's look. We got Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Anderson, and Anthony Richardson all off the board in the top four picks. So that does mean that we have Jalen Carter, Tyree Wilson, Devin Witherspoon available, Peter Skronsky. I mean, those are the guys you're probably even considering at this point. But I am going to go with Jalen Carter. I think that's the best pick, the best player. I'm taking him. Now let's see. Go down the board a little further, going down to pick 20, and that's what we're going to be at next. And we have Will Levis available. I'm not taking him, but that's interesting. Let's see what actually unfolded here. I wasn't paying attention. So six, the Lions take Gonzalez. Interesting. Then Devon Witherspoon goes eight to the Falcons. I would have switched those as far as if I was predicting, but pretty good. Seven, Tyree Wilson to the Raiders. I see that. Okay. So nothing too crazy. Zay Flowers is gone. That's something that I would have looked at. But we're sitting here. Lucas Van Ness would be a good player here. Miles Murphy would be solid. Jordan Addison, I actually would like that pick as well. If I'm being honest, I like that. I like that the look there. But let's see. Overall, I'd go Deontay Banks if he's available here. This is just positional value. I think that he's a great corner. Um, it possibly could be available here. Lucas Van Ness at 20 is very tempting, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. He's a big guy. He can play both interior and on the edge, but instead don't see the DN label. I don't consider him as much of a pure edge. I consider him more of a guy that you can have probably flexed inside as like a big end of sorts, and then he can also play on the edge in certain packages. But we'd be able to move him up and down the line. I think anywhere from a three or four technique all the way up to like an actual proper edge, like a seven, or even if you're getting wild, a wide nine. But I don't really think we'd do that with him too much. But basically, what I'm saying is he's flexible and versatile and would add something to our box. And he's a very strong, powerful player. I'm not taking him at five at all. I would never consider that. But I think at 20, that's solid value. And I do like that pick. Here at 37, a big reason I didn't take Jordan Addison is because I figured that there might be some receiver value here. However, it looks like we just got kind of the receivers just went in this hypothetical, man. They went early. So Jordan Addison right after us, which that I expected him to go. Quentin Johnson, he's gone. After that, we're sitting here and I'm not seeing all the guys I love, but I don't know how ESPN is on uh my guy Josh Downs. I don't even see his name on here. So I'm assuming they're not too high on him. But he's a guy I would strongly consider here, if I'm being honest. I'm not gonna look all day for him, but at this point, I do feel comfortable. We had a visit with Will McDonald. That's something that you could see happening. Again, I'm not going to do that here because I've already invested into Lucas Van Ness. They're different players, very different players, but that's just something I'm looking at there. Mozzie Smith is a guy I'm considering here. It's him and Keanu Benton. That's who we're going between. And personally, I am individually higher on Keanu Benton. The way I describe it is Mozzie Smith has a slightly better run defense ability in my opinion. He's a slightly bigger guy, like about 15 pounds. I think he's got on Ben, give or take. Of course, Ben's right there, like just a tad below him, but Ben has way more pass rush versatility, and that makes him a better overall player and a higher valued player to me because pass rush is super valuable as well as being a good run stuffing nose tackle. And he does both. His run stuffing may be a slight nick down from Mozzie Smith, but he is far better as a pass rusher. And I think within our defense, along the fact that we got Jalen Carter sitting next to him and Draymond Jones and Jaron Reed in that rotation as well. And now we got Lucas Van Ness in that rotation as well, hanging into that whole box there. I feel very comfortable taking the slightly lower graded run defense player and taking him because of his pass rush upside, because I think within that group, he's still going to be an elite run defender with our team, with the guys we've surrounded him with. See, I told you it was just missing Josh Downs. He went right after us. But anyway, here we are here at 52, and I'm screaming in this pick for Jack Campbell. Like, I'm not going to talk about anything else. If you've kept up with this channel and all, you know I love Jack Campbell. I think he's the best linebacker in this draft class. And he's a great player, really does a lot of things well, most well-rounded, extremely great athlete. I mean, like tested as like a 9.98 in his RAS score, relative athletic score out of 10. So I mean, he's like a top five quote linebacker prospect as an athlete. As an athlete, that is. Since 1987, he's also extremely solid, well-rounded player, great in run defense, good in coverage. He's a great player, and he's a steal at 52. Absolute steal. Now we're here at pick 83. Marvin Mims is a guy I like because we haven't addressed receiver yet. So let's do a quick review. We're 4 picks in, and we have gone all defense. And a lot of people will like this. I like this. I want our defense to be a strength of our team. And I think our offense was good last year. And I think we can continue to build on that here with this pick is what I'm looking for. Is the next couple of picks are probably going to be offensive minded, and you guys are going to notice that. So this is what we're looking at here. With our team, we've really improved that front seven on that box there. We're looking here and we see, okay, what do we got? What do we got? We're looking around for different positions here. I see we got like Tyjae Spears. He's a great running back. I'm not taking him here, but I think Marvin Mims might be the pick. I'm going to select him for now. I'm not going to actually make selection. A.T. Perry's a guy I'd really consider as well because I like him as a prospect. Luke Whippler. Okay. Luke Whippler. I don't think he'll be available later, and he's who I like here. Actually, I'm going Luke Whippler, and I think we can get a receiver in the next couple rounds, and as well as a running back. That's what I'm looking for here. Luke Whippler's our center in the future to me. I really like him. I wasn't sure if he was available or not. I forgot where they had him on the big board, but Luke Whippler's a little smaller center, but he's very mobile. And I think if we have him in between a couple big guards, which we tend to do, I feel like on our line we have bigger guards and we have strong tackles. I think him in the middle of that and have a mobile guy who can move around and get good blocks and help with our zone scheme. I really like that fit for us. And I think that he'd do a good to sit for a year behind Evan Brown and then take over next year. I really like how that felt to us. Okay, here. Zach Kuntz is actually a super athletic tight end that you could consider taking in these later rounds here. Let's see. What do we got available? Eric Gray. To me, this hasn't been the spot to take a running back historically because I do end up having one of the guys that I really like later in a next pick kind of deal. So let's see. Do we have any receivers that are intriguing to me here? Elijah Higgins, I don't really know much about him if I'm being honest. Charlie Jones is a solid player. Let's see, Xavier Hutchinson. We're crawling too far down the board to reach for it. So it actually could be in this hypothetical the other way around where we missed out on the next of the tier of receivers. If I'm being honest, we did miss out there. But Tank Bigsby is a great running back. Dwayne McBride, very high on those guys, and they would be a good pick here, honestly. Dorian Williams, that's actually where I'm going to go value-wise. Dorian Williams is the guy for me that I love this player. I think he's got huge upside, and I think 2 linebackers in this draft is great because all of our linebackers are on 1-year deals right now, and this provides us a good cushion going into the future. We have guys that can develop and play. And I think Dorian Williams has upside to start in the future. Jack Campbell's starting day one and being a great player, but I think Dorian Williams is coming in next year maybe and could be a starter or the year after that, and at a minimum is a good rotational piece for now. So yeah, that's what we're doing here. And then I think next round is going to be the round of the running back, where it's going to fall to where the value meets where I like it, the value and the player. I'm trying to get, you don't force the need. You don't force the need. That's how you end up with mediocre rosters. Is if you're just going too heavy right there to hit the exact thing you want. Tank Bigsby is still available, of course. That's really lucky actually. But I'm higher on Israel Abinaconda. I love this guy. I think he's a perfect scheme fit, and that's especially a big reason is I think he just fits so well. Tank Bigsby is a great player. Just to clarify, Tank Bigsby would be a really good player for our team. I'm just higher on Israel because I think he's a more well-rounded player. He's had some opportunities to catch the ball out of the backfield as well, so he can do that. But he's a very smooth runner, and he's crazy fast as well. He got clocked, I think, like in the low 4.3s range, but that was at his pro day, so I don't know exactly what that equate to if he did at the combine, but I mean, he's fast. You see that in his tape. He's a very fast breakaway type player. So that's something you pay attention to, and it stands out. It stands out on tape. You see that. So I really like that pick here. But he also is just a smooth zone runner. He fits our scheme. He's smooth. So remember how like Rashad Penny, when you watch him play, he takes these curving cuts. It's like he's not as much of a plant. Like Kenneth Walker is a very hard cut, juke, spin, but powerful guy as well, obviously. But that's what you see when you watch him on tape is you see the cuts, you see the flashes, the spins, the jumps. But Israel, you see the smooth fluid motion, kind of like Penny. You see a smooth acceleration, and then all of a sudden he's at the second level. And I think that's exactly what we need as a complementary back. Keandre Coburn, he's a guy to consider here for sure. Xavier Hutchinson, I like him. That's a solid value. That's a really solid value. I think Deuce Vaughn is a fun guy, but we just got running back there. Noah Sewell not going to take another linebacker here. Let's see. This is where you get into the later rounds. I mean, we're in the fifth round. I think Keandre Coburn's going to be the pick. No, no, no. Actually, no, no, no. Charlie Jones is still available. That's something to think about greatly. Xavier Hutchinson's a little bigger. Man, this is tough. So this is the hypothetical. We haven't taken a receiver early. I do like the receiver early option, if I'm being honest, more. It just didn't fall to us in the right value pocket here. Especially with the ability to take Luke Whippler. I would have had Marvin Mims, and I would have loved that fit a ton for us. But actually, we're here. Man, I'm gonna take Coburn and allow some flexibility down because he's a good nose tackle, and we need a second one. And I think that'd be a good little matchup for the two of them. I was trying to decide because there's another nose tackle that I like to target later that I actually got in the other mock draft that I filmed. But it's interesting. You see how these picks flow together, and it's a big process. And that's what I love to show you guys is just like how you think about it. Every time you have a pick, there's so many different factors, so many people available, and you just never know how it's going to fall to you. Now here again, receiver, Tavion Wicks, you don't really have great guys that you're stoked about here. So I'm not gonna force a guy that I'm not passionate about taking. You know what I mean? That's not how you do things. It's not gonna lead to good results. So what you got to do is you look at who are guys that you like. Deuce Vaughn is a great player. And in my opinion, he could make this roster even as a, you know, fourth back because of his honestly, I think he alone could be a punt returner. I mean, he's so quick and twitchy, and he kind of adds a whole different element to our team, and that'd put us at four running backs, which is normally about what you want heading into a season. So that's 100% a consideration here. Ventura Miller, we already got running backs, so I'm not overly or got linebackers, gosh. So I'm not overly forcing that. Chris Rodriguez. If I was going to take a running back, it'll be Deuce Vaughn at this point. We're just looking for guys that you like. Gerard Clark. Yeah, this is the one I would have gone for at nose if I didn't take Coburn last pick. So that's something I'm still considering because having an extra rotational defensive lineman isn't a bad thing, and you can always work that out. And we're talking about a 6th round pick here, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm gonna go Deuce Vaughn because I think he makes this roster, and I think he's a great, not only possibly punt return guy because of how quick and twitchy he is, but he's a weapon. I promise he's a weapon. And I know taking two running backs is not necessarily favored by everyone, but we got our RB2, and then we got a guy in the 6th round that can contribute similar to like a just I don't know. Think about how like DJ Dallas was used his first couple years. You kind of throw him in and just use a couple things here and there. I think it's similar, but he's so much more twitchy. There's different styles of players, but I think he can get some third down usage already and also be a returner for us. And I would love to see us just get creative ways to get the ball in his hands. Okay. We're at 237. The value's too good. I'm taking Gerard Clark. He's too good of a player to let slip past the 7th round. I'm not letting him go to another team. This is 7th round picks never, well, not never, but like it's like less than a quarter of the time do they ever make the roster. And this is guy I guarantee makes the roster because he's a good player. So that's how I feel about that. I really like that pick. There in the 7th round, I'm taking him every time if he's there. I don't think he will be, but I think I definitely would take that. So here's a summary of what we got in this draft haul. I really like what we did in general. We ended up with 3 noses, which isn't exactly what I was aiming for. I would have aimed for 2. However, in my opinion, this opens up the door for us to create some cap by releasing Brian Monet because I think really I don't expect much to come from him, and he's injured. So I would be okay with that. 3 would give us a strong rotation of, our guy where Keanu Benton's going to be the starter, and then we can give these 2 guys opportunities to compete with each other and see, who comes out on top in our rotation and how are we valuing that. How are they going to play like 15 snaps each or 10 snaps each or 10 and 15? However you want to do that to spell Keanu Benton some reps. You're getting different bodies in there, and that's how you build a good franchise. Is you get a great defensive line, a good offensive line. You build the trenches and you build out from that. I think we did that. I really did want to hit wide receiver here. It just the board didn't fall the way I wanted it to, and that happens. And so I still think that this is what I call the heavy draft, man. Other than Deuce Vaughn, he's a small guy, but man, this was a dense, beefy. We went in the front seven, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Front seven, we hit 7 new players that are all going to contribute, in my opinion, in some form or another. So I do really like that. We got a center of the future. Maybe he could kick the guard and give some competition to Phil Haynes, but I think Phil Haynes will start there for us. I really like what we did. So let me know what you think in the comments. I definitely did want to get a receiver, so I want you to know that is a target for me, but you don't force it if the value isn't there. That's what I'm going to say. Don't force it if the value isn't there. Luke Whippler was too good of a value to pass up. Marvin Mims, I really like as well. So I could go either way. I was really torn, but Luke Whippler is a guy that I think would protect our offensive line for the future. And that's a great asset to me. So I don't know. You could go either way there. That would be the one pick that I would debate over is if you just don't get a center this year and you figure something else out. But I think a center was a need, a backup center, especially. And maybe we could take a different guy later, like Juice Scruggs, but that's my thought process there. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe if you're a Hawks fan or if you just watch the NFL stuff and you like to keep up with other teams and talk ball. I talk about NFL teams outside of the Seahawks too and players around the league. So let's get some going here. Let me know what you think in the comments again. Like I said, let's get a discussion. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.